So, in order to get the electrolyte balance proper, there's three major electrolytes, and you're going to need these because if you ever cut down carbohydrates or you begin to eat less food or skip a meal, what's going to happen instantly is your nervous system is going to feel a bit wonky. You might get things like cold shakes, cold sweats, fatigue, feeling like you have low energy, and all that is what's happening is there's a metabolic shift in your metabolism as an organism where the body is now not getting the same amount of thermal caloric units put in, and you're kind of forcing it to shift into a gear where it's now going to metabolize the fat off the body. And that's a completely separate fuel source. It does use the glycerol backbone and triglycerides, but what essentially has to happen is the body has to learn to adapt to burning fats. Now, there's a couple ways to do it where you can eat more fat, cut your carbs and eat more fat, and kind of train your digestive tract to burn fat, and then what'll happen is your hunger will slowly dissipate and go away because there's no carbohydrates, so hunger and hormone levels fall back into a normal balance, and you'll be able to start skipping meals once you've kind of adapted to burning dietary fat. You can then start skipping a meal every now and then and start to metabolize the fat off of your body. Okay, but essentially what you'll still need is electrolytes. You need the three biggest electrolytes, the first being sodium, then potassium, then magnesium. The reason that sodium and potassium, don't forget magnesium, because that's like in spinach. If you increase your spinach intake, you'll start to have very vivid, lucid, like vivid dreaming. That is one of the biggest things that I've experienced when I started eating salty, buttery vegetables. My dream state started to come back. It was really cool, but then if you actually have a nightmare one night and your dreams are extremely vivid and real, it can be quite freaky. So I actually cut back my spinach intake because of that. And if you don't believe me, try it. Try it and see if your dreams get extremely intense and vivid. So sodium, that's going to help the acidity of the stomach, your biosalts, your gallbladder, which sits, the pancreas is right here. The pancreas emits some biosalts, and it also helps you absorb minerals through secretion of enzymes into the small intestine after the food hits the stomach. It goes into that small intestine. But the gallbladder, when you take in fat, the gallbladder is a little pouch that will squeeze a detergent. It's kind of a rainbowy color, but it's like a detergent that will essentially help you break down and absorb the fats better. So when you're taking in sodium, it's helping your body's natural biosalts, which you do want to do, especially when you cut out the carbohydrates. It's very important to get some salt increase going on so that your electrical system can fire. You still have, you'll actually find that your strength might actually increase when you cut out carbohydrates. And you get through the metabolic shift period of like 1 week or 2 weeks. Potassium, okay? Now potassium has a role, and I'm going to speak at a cellular level now, is at the cellular level you have the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. It creates adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP. Now ATP can be created through blood sugar increase through eating carbohydrates and glucose. You can also create it from triglycerides, all right, which is another way of kind of saying fats, essentially, is how I personally think about it. I'm not a biochemist or anything, but I do have quite a bit of experience in plant chemistry. But you have a sodium-potassium pump, and your cell tries to push sodium to the outside of the cell, and the pump does its best to keep potassium on the inside of the cell. What this separation of ion does is it increases electrical charge. It essentially is what gives electricity to all the cells of your organism. It's how electrical charge, conduction, and induction essentially takes place at the cellular level. So you definitely want to make sure you're getting your sodium intake, which is roughly a teaspoon a day, and your potassium intake, which you can get mostly from avocados. They have a high amount of potassium, far more than a banana does. Okay? But your cruciferous vegetables, and cruciferous vegetables are leafy greens like a salad, typically dark, but they're called cruciferous vegetables because there's, for the most part, the leaf structures have like a Christ, like a, a crucifix style of look to them. That's why they're called cruciferous vegetables, like kales, I guess. I just go after darker leafy greens is the best way to describe it, in my personal opinion. But so the sodium and potassium are extremely important, and the magnesium is also in there with the green leafy vegetables. A lot of this is going to help for like fluid around the ankles. It's going to help with the muscles contraction and release. It's going to help you sleep better at nighttime when you take in more cruciferous vegetables. Your stress level of your adrenals will decrease. You will literally help unnerve the body by eating more cruciferous vegetables, getting these two big electrolytes. You can get them through other forms, but it is recommended, in my experience, what I've done. I do eat liver, but it's definitely vegetable based, helps the gut microbiome far more than just 100% carnivore and animal based only type of thinking and approach. Heart arrhythmias, legs cramps in the feet, like all that stuff, tense muscles, quickened heart speed when you're trying to fall asleep. A lot of cruciferous vegetables will help relax the nervous system. And so I want to share that with you guys about electrolytes, and when you actually go into skipping meals and you're metabolizing fat off your body, that your number one biggest thing you're probably going to fight is going to be your electrolyte balance, getting that in check. And then if you end up with migrations like I have, I ended up with migrating, like really bad migraines and stuff. And it was the fact that I had cut out the fats completely, the animal fats. I realized that taking a fish oil was the thing, because I kept, okay, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this. And it wasn't until I took a fish oil pill, the increase of my omega-6, I believe. Maybe it's the omega-3. It's 3 or 6. One is seed oil, one is animal oil. You could also eat some eggs, but that got rid of those migraine headaches, which was a huge detriment. Once I got into balancing my electrolytes, I then ended up with the headaches part of it, which was getting the right amount of tiny little bit of brain fat that the brain needs. So fish oil was great for that. Some people use cod liver oil, kind of the same means for the same type of problem. So I hope that helps. Peace. Oh, check out gottokens.com. You can find a $19.99 free product there, and you can get into a group where I can fast track you in this knowledge base if you're interested in learning the faster route to getting further down the path at a quicker pace. You can check that out. All right, peace.